your seats.
Thank you very much. So yes, I'm an alumni of cohort 18. I was the class rep then. I have been doing what she's doing. I've been an MC for some of these graduations back then. I was telling Kiari I really wish I had done the two days, because I know the kind of, I remember the time we were at Karen. It was so impactful. I remember that movie we watched, the Nigerian movie, had a lot of key lessons. So nice. So 2 days is the goal. 2 days is the goal. I'm the founder and CEO of BM Consulting. BM Consulting is what Generational Leadership Network was in 2018 when Mr. Kiari was in South Korea. He had a vision. So BM Consulting is then, if I can equate it to its time. We are not yet registered and all that, but it's a vision that is going to come. Today I've just come in and I've seen a lot of new faces, and I can attest that this is a journey that Mr. Kiari has. I have seen it. I may not have seen it when it began, but I'm among the first people to see the journey. And we had coffee with Mr. Kiari and he talked to me about transitions. Yeah, it was good to have a plan to transition. I was a very rigid person. I thought I should just die as a financial advisor. I also work at ICLN Group. It's my 10th year. That's where you clap. Yes, so he told me, hey, I know you're doing insurance, but what else? I looked at him and asked, what is this gentleman telling me? What else? See me, I'm in insurance and I die as an insurance person. I told him, I know, start thinking about transitioning. Even me, I'm a civil servant, but there's global leadership. And then that conversation started in my head. I was like, what's next? And then BM Consulting. And I know we've tried to do some other things, and he's been very instrumental. So I'm honored to be part of this because I plan to deliver a very, very impactful session. And that's why I thought, do I go the slides way? Because sometimes when you're doing slides, I want to have an engaging. The kind of forum I've been given, I want to engage more. So as I also present, we will just be having conversations. Hapa na pale will be laughing, so it's not going to be very, very strict. I want you to loosen up, learn. When you feel nimekutaja, I know I'm going to ask me. Because I've been told to talk about savings, but I want us first of all to demystify ourselves. Why do we behave the way we normally do? Why do we, the moment we get money, some of us are very good savers naturally. Some of us are spenders like me. You get money na usha withdraw kwa account imeingia kwa M-Pesa, ushafanya 1 2 3. Kuna auntie yako ushamwambia acha nikutumie kitu, you're so excited with money. And we want to see the advantages and disadvantages of such personalities. And I'll also have a remedy. So we know ourselves, we have a remedy. After that, so number one, I'll talk about money personalities. Now this is going to be interesting because I want everybody, by the time we are done here, we have, now this is where you write, I want you to know which kind of money personality you are, the advantages, disadvantages, and the remedies. Then I'll talk about investment and savings, but looking at the 1 hour, I want to spend most of my time in money personalities. I'll do investments and savings. Yeah, I'll talk about the big 5. I want us to have a discussion of the next 100 years, your generation, the next 100 years. You'll not be here, I can assure you. But people from your lineage and your blood will be here. So I want us to discuss the kind of lifestyle that we can be able to live with them. I have a small remedy for that. And then I'll be done. I'll spend more time here. This one I can mention. And probably we'll organize with Mr. Kiari maybe to have a master class on these 2. It could be a monthly reflection, very, very good. Maybe January. I can do this, but allow me to focus on money personalities. And we'll begin. Thank you. So I want us to start with temperaments. And temperaments influences how each and every person influences their money habits. On number 1, shopping. How do we shop? I'll tell you of a very interesting personality that I'm one of them. It's called a sanguine. They shop interestingly. They're attracted by color. Then we have payment of bills. There's also a personality that's very good in paying their bills on time. I'll tell you about that. So there's also a personality, naturally they are investors. Kipata pesa nafikiria how to multiply it. Hapo naona Kiari, our president hapo hapo. Mimi kulingana venye namjua, but we'll see. So temperament forms basis of our personality. And what is a temperament? It's the subconscious things that we do, not naturally, that one that with no influence. They affect us to do the following. Number one, to manage our finances. That is investments, payments that I've already talked about. Manage people. We have people who know how to do very one-on-one. To manage people. Una feel yes. He understands. This guy is a very good person. But we have some people who have very bad management skills. You talk with them and you feel like I don't want to interact with this person again. Right? We'll find that more. Picking the right career. Mimi hakuna college town sitaenda. Hata ile Nairobi Aviation nilikuwa hapo wakistrike. Because I took a lot of time. I wanted to be a lawyer. Naenda one semester, naona hapana, this is not for me. Naenda KCA, nasema mimi ni financialist. Nalipiwa semester 2, naona hapana. Naona Larry Madowo. I used to admire Larry Madowo when he was in NTV doing the trend. I don't know, this is, Bosco is Larry. Naenda media school. I wasted a lot of time, hoping. But maybe if I had known about my personality, I would have been a salesperson. Trust me, that was my biggest calling. Nanika, the moment I found out that nikatulia for the last 10 years. So we'll know that choosing marriage partner kwenye hatujaoa kama mimi, there is a personality you choose, mtaenda kuwa mnapigana kila siku. Not because you're a bad person, but because you chose the wrong personality. Your personality does not complement you, right? Haya, hiyo tutaongea pia. Managing relationships, getting along with others. Parenting styles, that is very important. Most of us are parents here, so you'll get to understand that. Exercising discipline and self-control. So I want to introduce the first personality. The first personality is where I am. Me, I do not fear saying. So I want to see the benefits, the advantages of that personality, and it's called a sanguine. And I want to come MCU to a quarter here, but I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. Me, I know sanguines very, very well. The first character traits of sanguines, these are fun people. They love fun. Wanapenda fun. Mwambie Friday kuna movie. They'll be the first to pay. Their life revolves around fun. They love entertainment. Wanapenda kuentertain sana. In the other world, how do you watu wanapenda dunda? For those people who are maybe young like me. Every Friday, hata akiwa na 500 shillings, he's looking at the joint to go and just spend that money. Love music and all that. They also love recognition. They love being recognized. If you want to put a sanguine down, acha usim recognize. Kingia kwa room, call him by name. He likes that. They're also very emotional people. Can tend to be very emotional. Sometimes anakasirika very fast, but pia ukasirika yake inaisha mbio. That's a sanguine. They're charming. A sanguine is a gentleman you talk to, or the lady you talk to, and you're like, yes, I feel I have known this person for 10 years. They seem to say the right thing and do the right thing at the right time. So they are very charming people. They know what to say. They are life of the party. They're full of life. Penda anything that has life in it. You'll find them as, most of them are MCs. Most of them are pastors. Pastor Wengi. This is their character trait. I don't know if it's an advantage or a disadvantage, but people wanapenda show off. Penda show off. Like you guys, have you noticed my watch? That's a sanguine. They have to announce themselves. They also notice that they have a suit. They have a very good suit. Now at a bay, I bought it at Sir Henry's at 25,000 shillings. And if they came with a car, they will have a way to fix and tell you that they have a car. And it's just not an ordinary car. It it is a new car, it is a KBV, it's a Prado, nimekuja nayo. So wanapenda show off kidogo, right? It's a good and it's a bad thing, right? They're also very good-hearted people, very kind. Wanasaidia. Huyo haezi acha ulale njaa. Huyo afadhali atembee kutoka hapa hadi Mhoko na kupatia ile mia yake ya fare. They have very good hearts. Their strengths, they have very good strengths. And I want us to look at their strengths. Number one is that they are very influential people. Very influential. And you cannot do anything without a sanguine. You cannot run GLN without a sanguine. There has to be a sanguine. How do watasema, this has to happen no matter what. They see everything as optimistic. This 2 days event, it has to happen. So you need the influence. They're very influential people. Wanasikizwa. And most MPs are actually sanguines. Wanasema hii barabara lazima itengenezwe, hiyo barabara lazima itengenezwe. Number two, they are warm, they are caring, they are very warm, caring. They'll call you. Ukiwa na matanga watakupigia asubuhi, wakupigie saa 7, wakupigie pia jioni wajue kama umekula. They are very warm and caring people and very affectionate. Affection. Love it. Also hopeful people. Hope. Kitu moja huwezi toa kwa sanguine ni hope. I am telling you in the world, because when the world things are looking like they are not working, they normally have a very, very, very high hope. Very confident. Simlisikia nilijiintroduce kama the confident Bosco. Yes. Very confident people. Kingia kwa room, they just fill the room with a lot of confidence. They can approach anyone. They don't care what you think about them. They're Mr. Samuel Sasa. My name is Bosco Mtume, I work for ICLN Group. I need us to have a conversation. Confidence! They are mjaluo kabisa, which is good. They are very stylish. Most of the time, even when they are doing suits, they don't like wearing dark colors. Have very bright colors. I don't know if you've checked your pastor. Suit in your maroon, suit in your gold. They are very stylish. Kama watch, ni silver ama gold. Very stylish, wanapenda style. Sindio? They have weaknesses also. They have weaknesses. Number one, they lack staying power. Sanguines are always inventing things. And that's why sanguines, I'll tell you the kind of partners for them. Leo wanataka GLN, they have a vision for GLN. And they do it actually for the next 6 months and then they get bored. And they tell you now, Mr. Kiage, natuachane na mambo ya leadership. Tuingie kwa health. Health. I want us to do health. Yeah. I want us to now be able to advise people on what. So they do health for some 3 months, then it is not their thing. Teaching. I want us to do teaching. I want us to be teachers now. So they're always coming up with things, then they get bored, they leave it. So they lack staying power. They have very good visions. But kama hii ya Kiari ya kukaa 7 years na vision ya GLN, hiyo hawana. 7 years is such a long time. They easily get distracted. Start something, easily wanakuwa distracted. Also another disadvantage of them is they're very egocentric. Pride is, I always say pride is not bad, but when left unchecked, pride is the biggest enemy. Remember, it is what made Satan move from heaven, and he was a very powerful angel. So they can tend to be very egocentric, and they think their ideas are the best. Yako ni inferior kidogo. So they're not very good listeners. What they think is what should be done. They also talk about themselves a lot. Mwambia mambo na Prado. Na pia saa. And they will tell you about, itabidi utaona na mapasta wengi. No offense. Once they go there, what happens when the pastor, let's say, like me, I go to Kimbo Pefa Church. So today we have a guest pastor from Kimbo Mwehoko. So anaitwa, what do? They first talk about their families. Came here with my lovely wife. Came here with my children. And he will even tell you where the children are going to school. So they talk about themselves. Wanaongea about themselves kidogo, which is not a bad thing, but it's also a weakness. Some of the remedies is that, I'll talk about some of the remedies. So careers, where do you get sanguines? The first career is the one who's standing in front of you, they're in sales. Wanajua kuuza sana. And they do very well in sales, right? That's the first career you get them. The second one is teaching. But most of them are also teachers, and that is where you'll get them. They'll find to align themselves there. Preachers. How many pastors? Yeah? Bishops. They do very well there because they have the convincing and the influential power. Journalism. Most journalists are sanguines because they love talking, love interacting with people. Entertainment, DJ wengi, MCs. Si mnaona watu wa piano, mnawajua, sitaki kutaja watu hapa. Watu wa media, mnawaona eh? Most of them probably, they are there. That is their personality. PR, international relations, most diplomats and all that. And most politicians, MPs, MCAs. Just go and look at your MCA vizuri. Uangalie character traits zake uone kama sio nimetaja. Shopping, how do they shop, these people? They are attracted by color. So wakiingia kwa mall, it's not about anything. When he sees something very bright, they go there. They ask how much is this cost. And they buy it. So they are attracted by color. They shop easily. Wale wa impulse buying. Hawa ndio wenye hawkers wanapendanga tao. Hawkers love these people so much because they easily buy. Unajua kwanza, I told you, one of their strengths is that they are very affectionate and caring. So wanashindwa asipokununulia hii utakula nini? So they easily shop. Yeah? And anunui juu because he wants it. He's buying because he's caring. Sasa if I don't buy from this hawker, who is going to buy from them? Na amebaki na 200, right? They also love bargaining. Wanapenda kubargain sana, wanakuambia mimi niko na 100. Unaelewa? And they are poor in paying bills. Wi-Fi imekatwa. They forgot about it. Or probably they had the money for Wi-Fi, but I told you these people love entertainment. Fridays alienda dunda. Wi-Fi italipwa saa ngapi? Ndio anakumbuka, hey, pesa ya Wi-Fi nilifanya nini? I went to have some entertainment in it. Investments. Hawapendi kuinvest long term. Anything more than 2 years. Hapana. They don't think about long term. They think about Friday. Right? And unfortunately, they retire in debt and poverty. Most sanguines, by the time they are leaving this earth, they are very poor. Wako na madeni mingi. So I don't know if in the village, and these stories I used to hear my mom say that aliacha deni mingi sana pale. You know, there are a lot of debts associated with a particular person. So that's how sanguines are. Me, I know I'm a sanguine, I'm a proud sanguine. That's what I am. And it's a very good trait. Once you get to know your weaknesses and how to counter them. One of the weaknesses is that sanguines do not like investing long term. So what is the best way if you find that you're a sanguine? Is automate your investments. Wacha investments zako zitoke kwa mshahara. Kama unalipwa 100,000, kabla ushike hiyo pesa, make sure that umeongea HR, insurance imekatwa, pesa ya watoto ya education imetumwa kwa account. So whatever gets into your account is your money to spend. So that is one of the ways that as sanguines you can be able to do that. And then staying power is set goals and have the vision of your goals. Just have one goal. Kama ni BM consulting, baki na BM consulting. Wacha mambo na health. Wacha mambo na my good friend. Hiyo si yako. Wewe fanya BM consulting. Kama ni GLN, baki na GLN. You know, avoid those distractions. And of course, I always say this is the best way to beat your weaknesses in personality. Kneel down in prayer and pray. And tell God, these are my weaknesses. Sometimes do you tell God your weaknesses? Do you kneel down and tell God your weaknesses? God, I know I'm easily distracted. Give me strength. God, I know that sometimes I lack self-control. I pray for self-control. I pray that the Holy Spirit gives me the energy and the self-control not to be distracted. So prayer. Get to know your weaknesses as a person. God, I know I'm not a very good investor. Mimi nafikirianga Friday. Give me the wisdom. Okay, ulipatia Solomon to make sure that I make the right investment options. So a very good personality, I'm one of them. And yes, that's how we are. Sisi ndio sisi hao. Mkituona na vitu bright, siko ubaya, it is our personality. Mkituona tukiwa confident kwa room, That is us, and you really need us. This world without sanguines would be a very boring place. Kwani hizi loans za apps, na mnataka nani achukue kama sio sanguines? I'm sure kwani mnataka nani achukue kama sio sisi, you know? And you ask the sanguine, umechukua hiyo loan ya kufanya nini? Maybe amechukua asaidie mtu mwingine, ama ameombwa nisaidie na 1000 na auntie hana, but because they really want, they also have a character trait of being, they want to be recognized and they want to be appreciated. I would rather nikopia mshwari nipatie auntie kuliko kuambia auntie sina hii pesa. Right? But once you know your weaknesses, you are able to say, auntie, the only money that I can be able to lend to you today is 200 shillings or 500 shillings because I don't have that money. So those are sanguines. I want us to go to the next character trait. Any sanguine, kuna mtu, msiogope, kuna mtu ameona yeye ni hiyo kabila. Najua mnajijua, wacha nisiende sana. We have another character trait. It's called a choleric. It's a very powerful trait. Very powerful trait. And let me just mention, you cannot be one trait. You cannot just be a sanguine. You notice that you have different personalities. They complement each other. We serve a just God. Mungu alikaa chini akasema, if I let Kiari be a choleric only, then wacha nimpatie another trait hapo. So you find that most of the times you have two dominant traits. Two dominant traits, and I'll explain to you how. So choleric are very strong personalities. They are very practical, proven, very practical people. They are action-oriented. They love actions. I don't know if you've been in a jam somewhere. Gari zimefungiana. You know Kenya kunaga traffic jam. What is in Kenya is that watu wanafungianga barabara. Wanafungiana barabara. That is a trait that we have. I would rather tukae hapa tulale hapa Mau Summit kuliko ni kuache upite. Right? So one character trait you find with cholerics is that they take control. Wanatoka, they take control, they're able to clear everything, they love action. They dream big. Si mnaona hii? Si mnaona hiyo trait nilianza kuongelelea nani? Dream big. Yaani mtu wako South Korea na anaanza kufikiria venye anaanza kufunza watu na leadership. He's in South Korea but he's thinking, how do I, when I come back to Kenya, how do I start a school and start training leaders? That is number one. They dream big. No, namuuliza, do you have resources for this? They don't have, but they have a vision. Their vision is very big. That we need to have an institution whereby we can get leaders. The thing that we are lacking in Africa is not resources, we are lacking leadership. Na hapo South Korea, na nafikiria hiyo mambo. Dream big. That is also one thing. They are born leaders. Born leaders. Naturally, these people are leaders. They take charge. They love results. To them, what matters is results, and they can get it anyhow. Results. They take charge. I've told you about Karibu sana mgeni. Are you a sanguine by any case? Karibu sana, karibu. They take charge. I've told you about traffic jams. These are the kind of people mkiona mmefungiana anatoka ana organize jam inafunguka. They love taking charge, right? They are very confident people also. Very confident people, very confident people. They take personal responsibility. Take a lot of personal responsibility. Goal-driven, love working with goals. I want to train 100 leaders. You say kama sanguine. Si nilikwambia sanguine ataomba mshwari akupatie. Huyu never. Hana na nakwambia I cannot help you. So they lack that emotional ability. They're also tempered. You interact with them, you find that wako na hasira. Tunaweza kupiga kofi anytime. So be very careful how you interact. They may seem very quiet, they may seem very but anger. Be very careful with them, right? They're also stubborn. I may make a decision. Huwezi mtoa hapo. A little bit stubborn. They're militant. Familia zao zinakuanga, and I know you know them from the village. Kenya mzee amesema? Yeah. It is a strength, it is also a weakness. There is no weakness in all this. All this could be strengths, because when you have a caring heart like a sanguine, it's a very big strength, because that means Peter Njau cannot sleep hungry and I'm here. Right? When you are militant, that means that at least some things will never be heard of in your family. There is very good behavior. So all these things are strengths and weaknesses. Careers, where do you find them? These are leadership, high-end leaders, high-end military. How ni Akinogola, our late Kenya Army Defense Forces. How ni president? These are the Rutos. Ruto fits very well in this character. Our president, right? I know Uhuru was more of a something. Uhuru is just like me. Uhuru is just like that one I know. But Ruto is different. Ruto is a choleric. With those traits I have mentioned. CEOs is a CEOs. Wanajitaka presidents, eh? Umewaona, eh? Ni hao. Wanajita president. You know the trait yao, eh? Generals, these are high-ranking generals in the military. Senior politicians. Leader of majority. Leader, these are the high-end. You know, we have MPs, then we have high-end politicians. Karibu sana. Our guests. Shopping, how do they shop? Also large-scale farmers, people who own acres and acres of land in Molo. They are doing wheat farming. They dream big, I told you. And also engineers, most engineers are in that. Shopping, how do they shop? They shop very quickly. And then most of these people do not like, you know, the executive people. And you'll hear them talk about high tea. They just don't do ordinary tea. So when they are calling, they are telling you, Mr. Samuel or Mr. Nick, I want us to meet for some high-level engagement tea. They don't, how do you meet for ordinary tea? No, it has to be high-level. Wanataka kitu, you call it a bit high-level. If they are shopping, these are the kind of people you find them in supermarkets at 3 a.m. Because they do not want to queue. They are not patient people. So they go shop quickly, anaingia anachukua kile anachukua, anaenda nyumbani. He believes his time is better placed in more productive areas. Early risers, these are people by 4 o'clock they're up. Latest 5. Zile magari mnaonanga before 5:30 Nairobi. Hizo ni za cholerics. They move early, they leave the office early and go and play golf. Or they leave the office late when there is no traffic. They seem to have covered traffic. And they pay their bills very very good. Huyo akinunua policy yako kama mimi, mtu wa sales, you will never call him complaining about late arrears. Effective. They know that their policy should be paid on 5th. 5th, na usimpigie simu, they will get irritated. They know that they're supposed to pay that policy. And if they're not able to pay, they will call you. That's how they work. A very, very good, strong trait. I told you guys I'll spend more time here. It's more fun. Those getting mention it also. Investments, they are risk takers. Mtu atachukua 10 billion and then at least land uko Molo. They just waone kuna shortage ya kitunguu. Hata ambia mtu atachukua tu loan and they are at least land and apange kitunguu. They are risk takers. They love luxury also. They love the fine life. I have an uncle. You know, in every family, there has to be a rich person. But then, come on, we talk a family where you are all poor, there's a problem. That is generational curse. Kwa kila familia lazima kuwe na mtu mmoja. Me, I had an uncle who was doing very well. And so us, because we were not doing very well back then. My dad was retrenched. I was even telling Kiari. So unaangalia, and then now he moved from Nairobi. So all that luxury in Nairobi. Anatupeleka pahali panaitwa Kitui. Na mnajua kwetu vile kumekauka. So I loved staying at my uncle's place because anyway, hata wewe ukiulizwa kuna nyumba hapa Buruburu na kuna nyingine hapa Kitui haina maji, utaenda wapi? Hata wewe tuko bwana. Hata kama ni wazazi wetu bwana. So I loved staying at my uncle's and I learned a lot from him. He's a very strong choleric, very acute business person. He always sees opportunities. Akona mkono ya biashara. Whatever he touches must succeed. Anakaka kidogo, by then he was selling credit cards. That is early, mid-2000. He was the biggest supplier of credit cards. Telkom, when Telkom had come, they were making money there, millions and millions, and I would admire their lifestyle. And their kids would say, tunataka PlayStation. When PlayStations zilikuwa kidogo sana, ilielewa Dubai wanaletewa PlayStation, so we would stay the whole day in the house, playing PlayStation. Naambia mama yenyewe kusema kweli wacha nikae hapa. It's a very good uncle of mine who taught me a lot about investments, and you find that they love luxury. Hapo ndo niliona aquarium. Like in somebody's house. Unanunua samaki za kuangalia tu za peace of mind. It inspired me. I know you were poor back then. You are not doing very well. But I want to tell you something. Some of these things is very good to learn. When you come to my house, I have to talk about myself. Don't judge me. Don't judge me, please. When you come to my house, my coffee table is an aquarium. So there are a lot of fish there. And I got it from there. Right? I learned it. I would see it. So the moment I just made small money from insurance, that was the first investment I did. She's 10 years old. Right? So they love luxury. And they end up living well. They are mean people. Niliwaambia hawa saidianangi hawa. Usimpigie unataka 1,000 shillings, you will die hungry. Tafuta sanguine kama mimi. Huyo achana na yeye. But they are very generous in terms of giving you information on investments. They will sit you down. They will tell you where to invest. They will tell you buy shares. They will tell you do this business. They're not selfish in that. But in giving money, they're not the best. So they end up living very well after retirement. I say they're not kind and generous. And then sometimes they're insensitive. Nilikwambia sanguines can be, we are sensitive, we don't want to hurt you. Cholerics will tell you. When you're doing something wrong, they will tell you to your face. Our fichangi, they don't know dark and gray, they just tell you the truth. If you're married to him, atakwambia jana, ulienda hapa na ukafanya hivi na hivi, they're insensitive. Sisi sanguines will try to play around, come with flowers, try to make the whole place romantic, and then tell you, babe, jana, I didn't like how you did it in a good setting, and we try to use the right words. So you have a good heart. Choleric, hey, they tell you how it is. They are militant. So that is the second trait. Then we go to the third trait. It's called a melancholic. These are introverts. Don't talk much. They think a lot. They analyze a lot. They are task oriented. Fanya task yao tu vizuri. They are very neat, very organized, very neat, very organized. Wananga mambo mingi. Si mnakumbuka ule sanguine niliwaambia mwenye anapenda show off, bibi yake ndio huyu. Nataka msikize hizo character traits vizuri. This is his wife. So if you're a sanguine like me, you just don't go and look for any woman. You look for these traits. Because if you go and look for another sanguine, that marriage will not last. Because you want attention as a man, the wife also wants attention. So you need to go for a lady who does not want the attention, who wants to give you the attention, right? So I said they are task oriented. Si mnakumbuka sanguine anaanzisha GLN, 6 months later anaenda Pitanjao, anaanzisha health, anakuja hapa kwa physio, anaanzisha. Now these ones, the reason why a sanguine should marry this one is because they are task oriented. So kama wewe ni sanguine na umeoa huyu na umeanzisha GLN, anakukumbusha atakwambia pana. Ni leadership. They are good ideas, but achana na leadership, right? Intellectual acumen, they are also very intellectually up, very smart. Intellectually, you can read from that space. They are quite people reserved. Sisi sanguines tunapenda kuongea. We love talking even things that don't involve talking. So the perfect wife is this melancholic. Quiet. They will give you an audience. They will listen to you. Tapiga makelele, anakuangalia tu anasmile. They love that. They love that about you. Orderly, self-disciplined. Very orderly people. Sometimes you want to do things, Them they are very orderly, right? And they are artistic. Very artistic. Very artistic. Their strength is that they are very analytical. They analyze. Unakuja na hizo ideas mingi. Sisi sanguines tunapenda ideas. Today I was walking in town and I think we can start a gym here. Baby, tomorrow unaenda kazi, unasema wachana na ile gym. I think we can start a church. Start a church here, eh? So they are very analytical. They are able to listen to you. They are able to listen to you. And when you get a very good melancholic, they can really arrange your life very much. The moment unapigiwa simu unaambiwa nisaidie na 1,000 shillings and you don't have anakwambia kama don't do that. Because they are also hawataki mambo mingi. And they're also very intellectually gifted. Very smart, upstairs. Their weaknesses, they also have weaknesses. They love staying alone. Taking mambo mingi sometimes. She wants her space. Sometimes they have a trait that is not very good. I told you they're intellectual. One of their strengths is that they're very intellectual, right? They're very gifted upstairs, right? Wanakwambianga I went to the Alliance. Anakuangalia hivi. Anakungoja amenyamaza tu unashinda what is this person saying. They're looking down on you. Wewe na hiyo shule yako ya where did you go to school? Wewe na that school of yours unamwambia I don't know I went to which school in Roy. Amenyamaza, she'll not tell you. She just and then anasema you know I went to the Alliance. Intellectual. They look down upon others. That is their problem. Also high standards. They have very high standards. Yeah? Please do not meet them. For me, like an insurance person, when you meet these clients, the kind of place you go and do business is very important. Simpeleke tu kahawa ya kawaida. They come to a place that has standards. They feel that you value them. And then they make their decisions very slowly. And that's why they need a sanguine. Sanguine akitoka Korea and they want GLN. Anasema kesho we want to start this. But melancholics, they're also very slow. So they need somebody who can push them. And as a salesperson, I'm able to know I'm dealing with a melancholic. They have to go and research about ICLIM group. They have to ask for wanalipanga claims. So they'll make a decision after 6 months. That is when they'll tell you, now I'm ready to start. And I have to understand those kind of, as a salesperson, I also have to understand the personalities of the people I am dealing with. So even you, because everybody is a salesperson, you're selling something. You're selling health to me. You're selling products to me. Somebody is selling me honey there. So you're selling, so you need to know which kind of a person I am. If you are dealing with Kiari who is a choleric, he'll buy that product today. You don't have to convince him. If it's a sanguine, you need to bring color, you need to bring tone. Unakuja unaniambia unajua this honey bana. Kwanza ikiingia kwa ile kitchen yako, looks good. You have to bring excitement to him. He'll buy it today. But if you find that I'm a melancholic and you're selling to me honey, I have to go and research your company, your brand, your reputation. I'll probably Google you on social media. Niangalie Facebook, what do you post? Then I'll buy this honey maybe the second GLN graduation. So you get to understand he's still your client, but they will not buy today. They will not because they do not want to buy your product, but they will not buy it today, right? Careers, where do you get these people? Only accountants. Accountants. They are my best clients. They will take some 3 months before they buy that policy, but the moment they buy it, they've bought it for life. They've done their research, they've seen the benefits, and then they buy that product. They're in IT profession, so then we get them in the IT profession. Doctors, but actually wengi wako hapa. Very analytical. Architectures, people who design buildings, they want information. So if you're a salesperson and you want to sell to this person, the trick is give them as much information. Mtumie brochure, mtumie website ya kampuni yako. They trust me. And by the time they are meeting you, they have done their research very, very well. Pilots, most pilots are also in that space. Researchers, professors, writers, psychiatrists, all of them. Most of them you find them. How do they shop? They use logic. If it's not logical, they not buy it, right? They're also very strict. And my mother is here. So I was in Kangaroo school. I was in Makutano. Makutano is in Machakos. Okay, let me tell you my story. Kidogo tu, so that we isikue very professional here to listen up, yeah? To loosen up, yeah? So my dad lost his job then. They had swore. So after my dad losing his job, I used to school here in Nairobi, so I had to go back to the up country because they were readjusting life. But I schooled there for 2 terms, and then now I went to Makutano. Makutano was a very high-end school, but we were taught life hard. Mimi bafu nimeionea class 6. So how it used to be is in the morning we'll wake up at 4:30, take a bath outside. And you know the Kambani weather. The Kambani weather is very cold at night, very hot during the day. So take a bath at night. At 5 you're supposed to be at preps. So 5 to 6 unaenda preps. Every morning ni porridge. Every break time is porridge. Every lunch time is githeri. There was no ati today there is ugana. Kila lunch time ilikuwa githeri. And we had some very interesting friends called weevils. So you would go to the rubbish pit during lunchtime. Your rubbish pit imejaa, watu wametupa. But because of hunger, after 1 week, you will not even get one githeri drawn because you had to fall in love with that githeri. It was not well cooked. And if you're a Kamba, you know that there's something we call nzenga. Nzenga is grilled maize. So every lunchtime ilikuwa nzenga and beans. We had an exception. Saturdays, you get rice, and you would either choose either one meat or one potato. And then on Sundays, we would get modokoi. For those who know modokoi, it's a very nice meal, Kamba meal. So Sunday lunchtime was modokoi. And that was how life was back then in primary school. Then I went to Kangaroo School. Kangaroo School was the opposite. Kangaroo School is in Embu. Now, Kangaroo School I met, in primary school it was very tough environment. They really practice spare the rod, spoil the child. So we got a very good beating. But I really thank my parents for taking me there. It's because it got me foundation. Nowadays, at 3:45 a.m., somebody was asking me, where do you write your morning boost from? Me, I'm at 3:45 a.m. every day, and that is when now I write those morning boosts. Those things that I normally share in the group. They are a reflection of early mornings because I was taught from my young age the aspect of reading. You'll always find me reading a book. Every day I have to give at least an hour to a book, right? Because in Makutano you had to read. Whether you loved reading or not, it had to be within you. Now I've gone to a secondary school that is different. Freedom. In secondary school you had to be in class at 8. Ukuni? For that. Ukuni? Every Friday, Saturday, girls schools wanakuja, and we are boys. Girls schools. Function, kuna games, kuna nini. So it was a very big contrast. So secondary school taught me survival. And I started my first business in Form 2. Selling sweets. And yes, selling sweets and biscuits. And I would make a profit of 30 shillings. That was money for bread and all that. So there was a lot of freedom in primary school. Then I went to college. I was at Kenya College of Accountancy. Also a very strict environment. And that is where I started selling African ornaments. These things, these features. And when I was at Karaoke, I would make a profit of 50 shillings. And then later I was to go to Dubai after college. But I didn't go to Dubai. I started ICA 10 years ago. And I remember I met my first client at in 2015, 7th November. She signed up for the police in December, 7th December 2015. Last week on Friday, I paid her money, 1.9 billion. So I'm 10 years into the game, 10 years into insurance, 10 years into working journeys. So shopping, they're also strict and they're paying bills. So I was telling you about strictness. My mom, when I was in Makutano, I don't know if it was because she was broke or she's disciplined. But she would get to the supermarket with a shopping list. Kiwi, tissue paper, blah, 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 blah. And it had to follow. That shopping list had to be followed from number 1 to number 10. So if number 1 is kiwi, na mmeingia supermarket na kuna tissue paper, na tissue paper ni number 6. Lazima mzunguke kwanza mwende mtafute kiwi. The last one now, legacy. We need to start planning for our families 100 years from now. I will be very grateful for this. All the people who have, all the men who are about the age of 40, and you have people depending on you. Yes, I was unfortunate. We lost one of the best musicians, Betty Ball. Really 2 good kids. And she was a musician, she was fortunate. Not only Piki and 5 million. Naruto can 5 million, that is 10 million. But you're not Betty Ball. Now Uhuru akaweka kwa trust their education. So they are going to learn in Peponi, one of the best schools, everything catered for. Right? That's Betty Bayo. Fortunate for her, but you're not Betty Bayo. You are Bosco Mutunga. Probably Uhuru does not have an idea of who you are. I need you to ask yourself, and I want to talk to the men. And if you're a lady and you play the role of husband and wife, means you're a single man. I want you to think deeply. Look at your children and ask yourself, God forbid, in the event that I'm not here, what kind of lifestyle will I lead? leave for my children. Wanachukuliwa na in-laws waanze kufanya kazi ya kuosha sufuria za watoto wengine wakiona TV. This is what happens. I'm just telling you the truth. If you do not plan, your sister loves your children, but she doesn't love as much as the way you do. Right? You want your children to go to a very good academy, your sister is not going to let her life live because your children have to go to that school. She'll take them to school, but at a surely I can't go up. So you guys, I want you to be very deliberate on planning. That God forbid, because two things are definite: taxes and death. We also need to plan for the days that we exit this world. I know sometimes it's a very uncomfortable topic, but it's the truth. Mimi ni mhubiri, I have to tell you the truth. Yesu anakuja. Lazima muokoke. Right? So you need to plan for legacy. This is a very interesting product. Very interesting product for those people who have children. And I want you to really consider this product. If you know you're above the age of 35 as a man, and if you know you're playing the role of a man and a woman, it's called a whole life. Whole life is a very interesting product. I know Prudential Insurance, for those who are advocating, wako so conversant with it, Prudential have been having it. You get a plan for 10 years. So you're 40. So you get a plan, you pay it for 10 years. It will mature when you are 50 years. You pay a premium of, let's say, 6,000 a month. You get a cover of 5 M. For around 9,000 shillings, you get a cover of 10 M. So you pay this plan for 10 years, it matures, you stop paying. The day that you exit this world, this 10 million is paid to your beneficiaries. So I'm giving you this information because this is the cheapest way that you're going to plan for legacy. If you know your father and you're not related to the Kinatals, probably this is one of the ways that your generation is going to do what? Is going to escape poverty. So let's think of having a whole life policy. It's a package whereby you pay less premiums for a period of time, and the day that you'll exit this world, hata kama ukiwa na miaka 90, we will come to your burial, we will mourn, tutambia mama pole, but after 2 months, I will come back again and say, Mr. So-and-so was a wise man, he planned. Tukona kitu kidogo I see lion, a 10 million. Come let's arrange a meeting in town, there's some paperwork to do. After 2 weeks, I want the same kids to enjoy the kind of lifestyle that Mr. So-and-so left. So ladies and gentlemen, that has been my presentation. I love keeping time. Thank you so much. You've been the best hosts. I can't wait for the other guests to come and learn. For all those people who have questions, tomorrow afternoon, I'll be ready to answer your question. God bless you. Thank you so much.
Wow. I am a teacher and I wanted to say that was incredibly insightful. Say that. That was incredibly insightful. Thank you so much. Our first speaker has taken it up. Bosco Mutunga, that was actually incredibly insightful for all of us. A little bit of your takeaway from the tables you are in. I wish you could have 2-3 minutes and just agree on who will say the takeaway that carried your day, your morning. Yeah, so just have a discussion and then I will be asking you to comment on your takeaway. Have we learned a lot? Do we have takeaways? Yeah, so go ahead, 2-3 minutes. And pick one of you to say the takeaway. Yeah, for today, we are learning. I think our president normally say we are rerunning and learning first. Then we are rerunning and we are learning. Yes, yeah. So, 1 minute. Wow. So I'll start with a table where we have our beautiful ladies here. So, one of you. Take it up, Faith. You don't have to complicate. Let it come as raw as you got it. Okay? Yeah. So, what we have learned, the takeaway of this table is, you see the way we work from January to December, the last holiday, as he said, Leopard, we need to give ourselves a day, like a week, saying, this is my time, let me go to spend somewhere, enjoy life, even if it's for a while. And then the second thing is about the personalities. Like, instead of focusing on more of our weaknesses, we change the weaknesses into our strength so that we can improve also in how we spend our money, how we invest, and how we save also. Wow. Wow. Appreciate her for that. Wow. At the line up for self-care. Watu wanataka kutoka wakule pesa yao. Yes. So one of you. Thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
So the takeaway from the table, mostly it's about the investment and about the retirement and the realization that most people don't realize that after retirement you need to live a good life, and there's also the other things that comes with old age, because of course sometimes we retire when you're almost at the age where we need a lot of health care and other things, and people don't remember to cater for that. And then there's also the legacy. Again, most people don't usually think about what would happen to their kids when they leave this world, and that is usually something that people usually overlook.
Wow. Appreciate that. Yeah. Gentlemen here.
The takeaway from this table, we're thinking of personalities, and it's like there is no better personality. All the personalities matters, but then we're thinking about the associations of people, and he was talking a lot about marriages. I don't know, the choleric and the phlegmatic, and the melancholic and sanguine. I think yes, we are still thinking about that. And as a melancholic, maybe I will take also time to assess and to analyze and to see.
Hello, just to add a bit, this is a table of work alcoholics. There are similarities in melancholic and phlegmatic. Yeah. So we need time to Nanyuki.
Wow. I'm sure it's so encouraging even for our speaker that you are keen. I'm almost understanding why King is talking about that. That you need to be careful about your match. So 1, 2, 3. Welcome.
Hello, morning. In our table, we picked something to do with also analyzing the characters, especially our staff. You may get somebody on board, you identify the qualities, then you realize he has to, according to what you have learned today. So it's good to reprofile them where they suit most. In our case, you realize somebody is not performing, you want to exit him, he can switch elsewhere. Yeah, so you keep on reprofiling him to where he suits most based on what Mukuna has told us here. like choleric or something. So we have such cases, in fact, we have been discussing. Already we are thinking like we can go and push that one to the other end so that it performs better.
Yes.
Yeah.
Action plan online, eh? Yeah. So people are doing stuff because of our today's lesson, eh? We can never dismiss anyone. They are fitting in some place, and finally we have, yeah.
Good morning. So this table, as you can see, we are very peaceful people. Really tupendi mambo mengi, but we have also appreciated that no one has one personality. Because yes, some of us love peace, but we are also very driven. Unapatanga, when you set your mind on one thing, it's that thing until the end. So we have appreciated self-awareness. Thank you, Bosco. That was a very good session. Thank you.
Thank you so much for making it brief. Ruth, could be, you can say one.
Thank you, facilitator. I think I thought when you are over 40, you have been written off. Surprisingly, I think it is time you arise from your written off. Because most of us believe in kifika 40, by then kuna vile tu mambo haiendi poa. But I thank God that at least this saving thing, it has risen as something that is in me. It's something that I thought I wouldn't. Now I know I can do it. Also the personalities. I think I have looked at my children, I'm like, wow, now I know where I can fit them. Yeah, I think I'm a family lady. Thank you, sir.
So in brief, we have learnt a lot, so we keep on mentioning.
Is your experience. Experience gives you the credibility to talk on particular subjects. So your experience is your asset. And all of us here, our experience is one of our assets. When teacher here talks about, you've been a teacher for how long? Almost 30 years. That's wealth. That's a wealth of knowledge, a wealth of experience. And me, I always encourage people, use all the jembes. Yeah? Jembes zote zitumike. So that by the time you are exiting from teaching and you require another jembe, it is not so rusty that you can't sharpen it. By the time you are sharpening, you are already tired. And you remember you're retired. That becomes a tragedy. And that is why some of us, we are using the djembe of where we are working, but we are also using another djembe here. So that by the time that djembe is over, this other djembe is very sharp. It's just a transition. There is no struggle. Elizabeth came, she was the first speaker, among the first speakers. You know Elizabeth from ICM. She came and in one of our graduation. And after the graduation, she just came and told me, Kerry, you are lucky. You already have another life beyond the life of work. I've seen something. And that was a very good feedback that I appreciated. So I've picked a lot from what we have learned today. Majorly, I think, start early. That's really important. It's something that has affected me. One of my firstborn, I'm paying 7,000 per month. In GLN, sometimes you become vulnerable and open, so that to saidiane. Yeah. Why? I started late. I started a bit late. I want to insurance. But we kept on until one day I just realized, wow, the years are moving. If I had taken action that day, and now it's about 6 years down the line since I was given that gospel, how much would I have saved? And I had to make a decision as quickly as possible, and I plugged in. I take insurance as an investment. Just the way I can put investment somewhere else, I realized this one I have to be very intentional, make it like an investment. So I have 5 kids, and all of them are on insurance.
Wow.
Yeah, it has to be intentional, because I realized, wow. So the first one I'm paying 7,000, about 7,000 and something. The second one I'm paying 5,000. That tells you, again, nilijaribu. Yeah, I tried. At least we were kwanza, there were quite some years now to the maturity. The other one at least I extended. And then the last 3, I'm paying 3,000 a month. Why? Because again the duration was a little bit shorter. So Bosco akisema, wakati una suspect, Bosco said when you suspect a child might be coming, call him or call someone else, or call your advisor and tell him or her something is coming. Let's start planning now. So that's one of my take home together with Susan. Start early. The issue of think long term and start now, that's one of the tussles that we have. It's a big tussle. There is always that temptation to, hii mambo ya leadership tumefanya sana. You are saying, naona pesa ziko kwa health, na tuna switch. After health kidogo tunafikiria, hey, I think there is money in teaching. But any successful person, they will always tell you, you have to be focused, you have to be consistent, you have to stay on that thing. Whether it is giving you what you require immediately, but you have to project it and stay there. They stay on power. And then to sum this up, as Bosco was going through, and I'm doing this so that I can usher in the next session. As Bosco was taking us through, I thought of something that I'm calling savings and investment quadrant. Yeah, saving and investment quadrant. So I just do something. Maybe you can see if you can adopt what I've thought through. Yeah. And remember, we had how many areas?
5.
We had 5. So the first one was home ownership. So under home ownership, maybe you have 1, you have 2, you have 3 issues that you may want to document there. Okay? And then the second one was which one? Retirement. And maybe before I fill all of them, which one do you think should be in this inner circle here at the center? Which one?
According to our thing is legacy.
Legacy. We can remove that in part of the 5. Let's remove legacy. Education. Retirement. Investment.
Soft life.
Soft life. In GLN we call it
Self-care.
self-care. The reason we are putting it here, because it's a culture. It's continuous. As we do homes, we are also taking care of ourselves, because we are the resource. And this resource has to continue reproducing and generating. Otherwise, if the resource is affected, the home is affected, the education is affected. If the resource is affected, again we have the retirement is also affected. And the last one, investment, is affected. That is my take home. And maybe you can join me in taking this to be our take home. So thank you so much. Let's again appreciate Sir Bosco. Sasa tunaona pesi ya chai. Let's appreciate her. We can give her a clap as she comes. Sabosco, let me invite you to come and join us. That was so fast. Even the song had not started. Just started now.
Say you can never be the one. Can't say, make I tell you, say that you choose in 1 month, in 1 week. You will sing a new song in 2 days. Unless again, you will hear congratulations, you're like that.
Most functions they tend to get sweeter at the end of the day. Yeah, so this is a certificate of competence presented to Susan Mungai in recognition of the outstanding effort and successful completion of a 10-week strategic entrepreneurship and leadership masterclass program. Your contribution in positively transforming business environments will go a long way in influencing the world positively. Think global, lead local, transform the world.
Welcome all of you to this session. We are blessed to have our facilitators today who will take us through this session. If you have your question, we'll allow you to ask directly, or you bring a piece of paper and I will read it to them. So quickly we shall do introduction so that we know who is in front of you and what are they doing. I am Johnston Kahindi Goja, a bishop and a banker. I say my calling is double-edged. I'm called to take care of your pockets and take care of your heart. I'm Bishop Kahindi with GGC, Gospel Generation Churches of Kenya, and I'm branch manager of KCB Tomboya. If you hear matatu say commercial, hapo commercial, ndio hapo. So on my right here, short introduction.
Good afternoon, guys. Good afternoon. My name is Pauline Mulo from Action Physio. Was in cohort 41, and I'm here to talk to you about yourself and all that matters when it comes to your health.
Thank you. Pauline will take us through a session later on, but because for some reason this one had to come earlier, so we can ask the anticipated questions. Next.
My name is Susan Mungai. I'm an accountant. I'm the managing partner at MMC Associates. It's a firm of accountants based in Westlands. And I've been in this space for more than 14 years now. And I'm here to talk about financial management and planning. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bosco Muchunga, CEO and founder of DM Consulting. I've also worked with ICLM Group for a decade. I talked about money personalities, the big 5, investments, and legacy. Eager to hear what you have to ask, and rightfully we will answer that. Thank you.
Great. Santene, one clap for them. I think I begin from the other side. He said he's been around for 20 years doing IC Lion business. I don't know.
10.
A decade? Oh, okay. I was giving you more than you. He was speaking today about big 5 investments. The big 5 are, the first one was lion, was elephant, which was standing for?
Housing.
For home ownership. What exactly is your take to the generations today, and what will be your advice? Because I know the people who say, my car, my home. They get employed, they want to take their first loan, they get a big vehicle, and they say, you see, it's boring to have a house.
Hey, boring.
Yes. But here I can be sleeping here at the Gracia today, tomorrow I can be Thika, and my car is my house. It's comfortable, takes me everywhere. And I have money, I'm liquid. What are the pitfalls of such people, and what will be your general advice to take them out of that, because you don't seem to be advocating for it? It's not one of the big fives you mentioned today morning.
That is a question that has gone to group of schools. Thank you, Bishop. We were talking about generations with my partner here, Susan, talking about Margaret's generation and the generation that we have now. And we were admiring Margaret's generation and saying that they tend to achieve so much with so less. Yet we have so much but achieving so less. So maybe my advice would be I would look at it in two ways. Number one, delayed gratification. Delayed gratification, that one always works. That means, yes, I need a car. A car is an asset nowadays. Let me not lie to you. But also that depends. I don't mean that Susan should not own a car, but if I was an accountant and my work is just to deal with numbers from 8 to 5, probably would a car be something of a necessity to me? Probably not. But if I was a salesperson, like myself, that I need to go to Tom Boy, I need to go to Roy and meet clients, probably that car is an asset to myself. Number one, I would advise the young people to desist from making a car the first priority. Get into saving schemes. I was telling Susan that the first basic saving scheme that you should always get into is a SACCO, because a SACCO gives you the leverage to be able to borrow at an affordable rate, and you're able to earn on dividends. That is number one. Number two, the popular ones, the money market fund, that God forbid, in the event that you lost your job, you're able to pay for your bills for the next 6 months. Those are just basics when you get a job. And when you have a job that you can be able to, a job that has good income, then you can think about having an insurance policy, something that is a little bit long term, and maybe start thinking about having shares and all that. So for me, those are my first to go things when you get unemployment. Number two, about the car ownership, that depends on the industry that you're in. If the car is an asset that is giving you business, for instance, if you're a salesperson like myself, and having that car will make you, instead of having 8 policies in a month, you'll have 15 because you have the movement, the ability to see more clients, then probably a car is more important than the house. But if you are an 8 to 5 and you probably don't need that money, probably getting into a SACCO, putting more savings, and buying land is your priority. So the question has, for me, the answer is depending on your career. If a car will help you generate more income, then yes, go for it. But you don't have to go for it immediately. I've been nice here for 10 years, I don't drive. I'm planning to get my car very soon. It's been after 10 years. I was telling Susan, I just clocked $1 million in savings, in SACCO savings. I'm also in housing, where my savings are $500,000. All my policies, I'm doing 33,000 shillings. And they're about to mature in the next 2 years. So yes, delayed gratification. I don't have that car, but you can see in the next 2 years, and now I have the ability to buy a very, very good car. So it depends, but delayed gratification always wins. Thank you.
Good. Thank you. Clap for him. Asante sana. Asante. And he kept on mentioning you. Yes, your partner. Oh, okay. Partners in Great, we'll come back to you, but we want to move on to our the second facilitator who was talking to us about financial management and investment, and she talked quite a lot. And we all want to invest. We all want to manage our monies. Now I have a question here. What are the common pitfalls? That is a pitfall. Let's see Poleni. What are the common pitfalls for individuals and businesses when it comes to financial management? The financial management that we all, everybody does financial management. Everybody, regardless of, because I think my great-grandfather was doing it. But the kind of financial management that we are teaching us today, that we are always trying, but always we are following, what are the common pitfalls, both at the individual level and as a business?
Okay, thank you for that question. So the common pitfalls when it comes to financial management, the biggest pitfall that covers so many of them is mismanagement of cash flows. So, for instance, you're getting an income, business income, employment income, investment income, and you're making expenses. Of course, you're incurring costs, but you do not track. You do not track like on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, where your income is coming from and where the costs are, your cost centers. So, at any given time, you do not know how much am I spending really in a specific cost center. For instance, our good friend Sharon, is she here? People who deal with products, and Peter as well. You are incurring cost to purchase stock, and then of course there's a lot that goes into that. The packaging, the branding, the transportation, and when you sell, of course, you get your income, but you do not know exactly at the end of each month, how much have I made from these products in terms of the margins. So there are people who run their businesses just one answer. They do not know exactly. So failure to track income, and this stems from lack of automation. So sometimes if your business is voluminous, it can get very hard to tell if you do not have software. So failure to automate will make you not be able to track your incomes and expenses. Another common pitfall is mixing your personal finances with your business finances. So you're an entrepreneur. When you sell, you realize you need to pay something for your house, maybe a utility. Instead of using your personal funds, you just draw from the business funds. Or maybe the account that you use for business is still the same account that you operate your own personal finances. So you do not know, there's a blurred line between your personal income and the business income. So my recommendation for that would be pay yourself a salary. When you're paying your workers, also put yourself on that payroll. You pay yourself a fixed amount every month that you know will cater for your expenses, such that whatever you get, maybe you pay, even if it's 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000, or whatever amount you're paying yourself every month, you work with that. Your expenses should be covered from that salary, such that whatever comes into the business takes care of the business expenses, not your expenses. Should you need to borrow from the business, you borrow it as a borrowing and then you return. That way you're able to tell at any given time what your business is making and what you're using in terms of your own personal finances. The other big one that we talked about is unnecessary debt. So you find you are in businesses and you need to scale up, but you have not gotten there yet. So you go and take a big loan to maybe get a bigger office space, be able to service bigger orders that have not yet come, but you've already taken the loan. And now you're left with a loan that you need to service, and the revenue to service that loan has not come in. So unnecessary debt, that's also another very big common mistake that people make. You need to research first, find out if it's warranted. Maybe if there's a gap in the market and there's a ready market, then you can take a debt to service that demand. Another common pitfall that people make is kupuuza the taxman. So you just buy and sell, make your profit, and then at the end of the year you file your returns. So you should make sure at least, even if I know this is being televised, so I'll be very careful with my wording. give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar. You can do tax planning that's legal, but don't avoid taxes. Yeah, so there's ways in which you can reduce your tax burden, but whatever is due to the government, just make sure you pay it. Yeah, basically those are the common pitfalls.
Thank you for reminding us that we are in front of the whole world. Something good she said though, that don't mix your business money with your personal monies. And I'm here, so let me open for you the accounts, different accounts. Maybe that's where I take care of your pockets. Now we come to you, Paul. I fear preempting or making you preempt your presentation. But here it says he's going to talk to us about maintaining a healthy lifestyle. And yesterday our president was telling us that sometimes you invest so much big time in your education. So you become a doctor, you become a professor, but you don't invest in that vessel that is called the professor. So if your health is affected because you never invested in that part, all your education, all the monies are wasted. And I think maybe you'll talk about this. But let me ask, I say action physio and maintaining a health lifestyle. Action physio. Break that one down first.
That is part of the presentation. But I will answer your questions.
Okay, give us that.
So that I can tell you what Action Physio stands for, because I have an acronym for that. But to answer your question, the first question about investing in health, I think I had talked to her, when we were getting to know each other, it came very early. I was telling her it's important to start now when we are younger. Even them, when I usually encourage them. What you do when you're young will set up for when you're older. The sports you do now, the walking you do now will set up for your future. You realize that most people want to do like crash courses, just like we do in finances. You want to just do a crash diet and then after you achieve your goals, you stop. But what you're supposed to do is do something when you're in your 20s that you'll easily do when you're 80. You just don't do things. If you choose walking as an exercise, it's walking you will do when you're 80. If you want to do skiing when you're 20, you'll do skiing in your 80s. So what are the steps that you're going to do so that when you get to 80, you're still doing the same thing? Even the same for diet. I'll not do juicing now so that I can lose 5 kilos, and then I expect to do that when I'm 80 and I'm diabetic and I have hypertension and I have all these things going on. So when it comes to diet, what I eat now, I still want to eat when I'm 80. I still want to eat cake. I still want to have coffee dates. You understand? Yeah. So what you do now in terms of exercise, diet, sleep patterns is what you want to still do when you're older. So your investment now sets up for your future.
Great. Thank you. Let's appreciate her. I believe you are setting your questions to ask them personally, so I think I'll do just one more round of questions and then I will open it up to you so that you can ask. The second portion that the CEO of BM Consultancy, Bosco, did, actually the first one, the second one was about the big 5, which now I think we are qualified to say big 6 because a car can be another one, he said, has qualified it. The first part was about personalities, and he described the issue of when you're in a traffic jam and then there is that personality that goes and takes charge. You remember that? Or were you not here?
Yeah.
Okay. So you see I was following. And you said it is good for a choleric to get married to a certain type of a woman, because that way there will be let me ask, do these personalities change with age or change with the time? Because you can get married to somebody who is not a choleric, a phlegmatic, and then they change or they stick that way. You are born a leader and you remain a leader. You are born a follower and you remain a follower. Do these personalities change with the time?
Wow, your questions have gone to group of schools. You just can't answer those questions without thinking. So personalities are influenced by a lot of things. Some are inborn. A bigger percentage is inborn. So if I'm a born leader, I'm a born leader. You always hear the phrase that the born leader, yeah? But also personalities can be influenced by environment, your background, and a lot of things, mostly during your early stages of life. Sometimes you find people have a scarcity mentality. Even though they make $1 million, their mentality is just less. And it's influenced by their background. Maybe somebody is from a very poor background, and every time you touch sugar, you will be shouted at. Please don't touch that. So you grow having that scarcity mentality. Even though you're paid for $1 million, you can't take yourself for a coffee date. You feel guilty for spending. Some people are born into a scarcity of abundance, and whatever they touch just multiplies. So I would answer your question in the fact that, and also something else is that personalities, you can't have one definite personality. So you can't be a choleric. So like I said, I'm a sanguine choleric. I'm a party person. I love the energy. I love the recognition. I am not a phlegmatic. That's what I'm not. Maybe one or two traits here and there. Sometimes I would want to be alone. Sometimes, rarely. Most of the time, I want to be with people. But just once in a while, maybe you want your own time and all that. So to me, to answer you precisely, personalities rarely change. They rarely change. So if you're sanguine choleric, you end up being a sanguine choleric. And I just say that sometimes you might find two powerful people getting married. So you may find a sanguine and a sanguine together. And they own, most of them you find that they own businesses. But you might find that somebody is a sanguine choleric and the other one is a choleric phlegmatic. So you will always find that there are traits that complement each other. They could have the same traits, they could be strong people, but one is more reserved, the other one is more outgoing, right? So I think that answers you.
How then does that relate to the topic on the table, money?
So money, if you listened in very well, certain personalities behave differently towards investment, how they spend, and how they shop. So like the cholerics, they are very good in paying bills. Naturally they invest, they're invested minded. So if you're a choleric and I present you a policy today, you buy it today. Those ones, they don't need a second meeting. But if it's my sister here, she needs to go and do research, and probably she'll buy after 6 months, after reading and inquiring and asking that. So you find that probably a choleric needs somebody who has a sanguine, who is the first. Even sanguines are very fast decision makers. Yeah? Because you find sometimes you have a sanguine who is a choleric. They also need to have a melancholic or a choleric who makes decisions very fast. They need to have a phlegmatic who is a little bit laid back in making decisions. To tell her, you need to buy that policy as well. So I'll force her to buy that policy. It's not in her doing, but since she's a follower, she buys it. So that's how it relates to money in terms of spending, in terms of, I could be a sanguine, as we insist on paying bills. Melancholic do not. So I need a partner to tell me, no, today you're not, today we are sharing that bill. And I'll come to my senses and be like, yeah, that extra 2,000 shillings I would have paid, I need it tomorrow. Sanguines, we don't reason like that. There's no tomorrow, it is today. And we like being recognized and being appreciated. But I also need a partner who tells me, you know what? The children need breakfast tomorrow. So please let everybody pay their bills today. That's how it relates.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Let's appreciate him. Let's appreciate him. Yes, I can see you are ready.
I'm very ready. From group of schools.
Well, I just want to pick it up from because he said you are partners. So now that you're partners, I keep hearing you talking of the same things. And you mentioned about circles, and he also mentioned circles. And in these circles, you mentioned some things I want you to differentiate. In circles, you say there's something called savings or their own contributions where you put your money and you count in there. And then there's something you mentioned that is share capital. One of you even said you take a loan and then put it in there as a share capital. Who will honor to that? It's you. Differentiate between the two with the end of diagrams. How exactly, which one is more beneficial? Give us the differences, what they mean, and which one do you recommend?
Okay, with the end of diagrams. Okay, so when one joins a circle, is there anyone here who's not part of a circle? Does not belong to a circle? Gen Z, you can excuse you.
Yeah,
I'm part of a circle, but so lost.
You can move to another one if they are frustrated. The returns are low. Oh. That's when you know about the case, yeah. But it will be difficult to be safe.
You also need to talk about Sasra and making sure that by the time you get to a circle, what you need to do.
Okay, so I'm hoping everyone here is part of a circle. Okay, so when you join a circle, immediately you join a circle, you have to pay a share capital contribution. So all the members own that circle. That is part ownership of that circle. And you cannot decide that you want your money back until maybe at the point of exit, if you manage to sell to someone else. But as long as you're in that circle, that money remains there. It's your portion of ownership of that circle. So most circles have a minimum share capital contribution, and they peg it at an amount. And you are free to increase it to whatever amount you like. And you earn a return on this share capital, which is a dividend. Usually dividends are higher than the interest that is paid on deposits. That's why it would make sense to have more share capital, only that now you put it in your mind that this is money, once you put it in there, you can only earn a return from it, you cannot withdraw it. The share contributions, on the other hand, the monthly deposits, those are the contributions, those are the member savings. That's the S in the circle. Savings and cooperative savings and credit cooperatives. So every month you're supposed to pay a minimum amount of savings from whatever income you have. You can decide to pay monthly or you can decide to pay quarterly, as long as you're making your regular contributions to that circle. So that's the difference between capital and deposits. If you get maybe like a side hustle or you get some windfall from somewhere. There's a time I was invited to Arurashio at my country, and apparently the lady that was being bought is a relative of mine. That was being paid for. The dowry is a relative of mine, so we were a group of women, of course, different age sets. And then at the point after they left, we were called aside and we were told the men have been given their own share, the women who are cooking have been given their own share. You, because you were around and you helped out a bit, here is your share. And I was so excited. I thought, oh, so I'm supposed to get something when someone gets married at our home. So that is money I had not expected. I did not, it has never happened. I've attended several other shows, but that was the first time. So in hindsight, I'm thinking I should have done something important with that amount, but I can't remember what I did. So if you get extra funds from somewhere, from whichever source, you can increase your contribution in the circle, either the share capital or the savings. And then interest usually at this point, most of the circles are paying an average of around 8.9%, but the dividends, most circles range around 15%, 17%, and others go as high as 20%. So if you invest, you can recover your money in 5 years, and then, yeah, you enjoy the returns from that point forward. So I would recommend share capital if you can.
Great, great. A big hand for her, a big hand for her. Now that you are raring to go, because she's whispering that she needs to take time and really empty herself of all the knowledge that she has prepared for us. And here I must ask her a question that has gone to a group of schools, a question that has gone to some known universities that have been chartered, a question that has been in a TVET, like the Global Leadership Institute here. Give us some compelling reasons, or confusing, or coaxing reasons why we should sit and give you 1 hour of our lives. What is in that presentation that we should sacrifice all these hours to listen to?
I have been a physiotherapist for 18 years, and yes, your question I've worked with a group of schools, but I'm challenged in a good way. Why you should listen to me is because physiotherapy is for everyone. So when you walk out that door and you haven't listened to what I've said, you have missed a lot. Physiotherapy is wide. From that small child to the elderly, we all need physiotherapy. Why I would also want you to listen to me is, I'll give an example of one of my clients. This boy was 9 years old when he came to us. And the reason why he came to us was because he had a back problem. And you see, back problem, we associate that with older people. You know, actually, back problems were for our shoshos, and we used to step on their backs and all that. But now it has changed because of the lifestyle, of course. And so when I was taking history of this 9-year-old, I came to realize that the mom loved him so much that he did not allow this boy to go and play outside. So he will be given the video games and crisps. So he had weight problem and mobility issues, because I mean, you're picked from school, you're seated, you're given a gadget. You get home, the gadget is on, so you continue. Food is brought to you, you're taken to the bathroom, you're washed, you know. Then you come back, default setting, sitting. And so it continued. And by the time this child was coming, he had severe back problems. And you know how flexible kids are. I've seen some kids running here. He could not even run, he could not touch his toes at 9 years old. And that was really devastating to me. And by the time I was, in fact, the first breakthrough was to the mom, not the child. Because the child doesn't have a problem, it's a system he found, you know. So I had to talk to the mom, and the mom was very harsh to begin with. And then when I told her why this is happening, she actually broke down and said she thought she was doing a good thing by allowing this child to be this way. You understand? So when we talked to the mom, and she agreed for us to continue with the knowledge of this child should go outside and play. That's where the healing started. Of course, we took the child through painful sessions of physiotherapy, and the boy enrolled in swimming and sports after that. So why you should listen to me is because I have actionable steps and goals for every one of us to take, so that we can lead lives of flexibility, mobility, so that when we are in our 80s, we are not dependent on other people. We can actually pick something from the top floor, from the bottom floor shelf, and we can actually move. We can go play with our grandkids. We are not limited in any way. We are setting up the strength for when we are older. Yeah.
Thank you, thank you. Let's appreciate her, let's appreciate her. That now opens it up for questions. So let's have anybody who has a question, just lift your hand up and we shall give you an opportunity. If you don't, it's your opportunity you're missing. My classmate. Please pass it on to my classmate over there. Thank you, thank you.
Action issue. I heard you said about crash diets. Crash diets.
Yes.
Yes, I would like to expound that.
I was talking about those people who do, like, if I want to go for a wedding in the next month, I will do like a maybe juice cleanse or eat vegetables alone. You know, it's not something that is sustainable. Like when we do fasting at the beginning of the year, I mean, the people who've done fasting, you know, there's a Daniel's fast, there's a liquid fast, you know, things like that. And it's only for a month. And you realize by the time that month is done, then you've lost some weight, you're looking good. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about crash diets. Like there are things that you do that are not sustainable. I cannot take juice for the rest of my life, but I can take juice maybe for a colon cleanse if I want, maybe for 3 days. I cannot take juice for the rest of my life. That's what I meant by crash diets. They are not sustainable. They can work for the time that they are working, but it's not something that you're going to do for the rest of your life.
Great. Thank you. Thank you. Yes.
So I have 2 questions. I direct the first one to both any of you can answer. So I want to understand better what are the investment options that are available, like that are really good and have good interests. If somebody, like we were saying, maybe somebody gets $500,000, what would you advise in terms of a good investment choice? Then my second question is to you. I could be wrong, but is physio specifically for someone who has an injury? And what is the difference between physio and massage? These massage parlors that we go and we have these different types of massages. Yeah, I think I don't have clarity on the two. Yeah.
We'll begin with you. We'll begin with you because you are still right.
It's okay, I can answer.
Yes.
Physio, like I said, it's not for anyone who has an injury. When we go to, for example, give talks in offices, and then we do like an impromptu assessment, you will find that you do not have pain. But by the time I come to do an assessment for you, I find that you have like very tight shoulders that are making you maybe have headaches that you do not know who are coming from the presence of tight muscles. And so physio is for basically everyone. It's for people to, we do physio so that we can tell you how to live a life to avoid injuries in the future. So if you, for example, now when I'm talking about the office setup, you find people who are very sedentary, people who sit from morning, they just sit. And so you find they might not really show any symptoms, but what is happening is an accumulation of a problem. And so by the time you're actually doing physio, it feels like an injury. Ililala vibaya, while it has been slowly brewing. And so physio is not just for the injured people. Yes, people who have injuries, they come for physio for rehabilitation so that they can go to their normal life, but it's not for injuries only. It's for lifestyle diseases. You know, people who have headaches, people who have post-degenerative problems like arthritis, degenerative disc problems. I hope that answers your question. But massage.
Massage.
Yes, massage. Yeah. So our watu wametuharibia kazi. And so massage is part of physiotherapy. But our massage, when compared to normal massage, is very different. As we do therapeutic massage, we have done anatomy for 3 years in college. And we have practiced this on real bodies. Of course, we go to Chiromo and all that. So as we have studied the anatomy and physiology and neurology, when it comes to the human body. And so when I am assessing you and treating you and doing massage for you as part of the therapy, because physiotherapy is wide, when I'm doing my massage, it's therapeutic massage because I can understand the origin and the insertion of the muscle and what nerve supplies that muscle. And so when I'm massaging you, you might feel like a massage, but I am actually correcting a problem. While these other massages are just for leisure, I'm sure there's a time any one of you has gone through a massage, you will vizuri, yes, because there was circulation increase in that muscle, but it did not treat anything. You see, when a physiotherapist does the massage, they might be able to tell you this muscle is tight and one session will not fix it. But as you go home, this is what you're going to do to continue doing so that you can have long-term effects when it comes to relief of pain. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Let's appreciate her. Now we come to partners here. Partners, investment options that have the greatest income and the thing that goes. Which partner is, this one is Bosco and Susan partner and associates. Okay.
Thank you. That's a very good question. It's dependent. Investments is dependent on where you are, what you do, the kind of income that you get. Pole Mwalimu Metropolitan, a SACCO is a good investment option, but also you have to ask yourself, how am I getting into a SACCO? We get into a SACCO to get, is it not cheap, affordable loans? So basically you're getting maybe into a SACCO to buy real estate, to buy land. So a SACCO is very, very good, but you need also to know there are things you need to consider before getting into a SACCO. Is it regulated by SASTRA? SASTRA is a body that makes sure that the whole management of that SACCO is well in order. They protect the depositor, that is us, so the clients, they protect you. And they make sure that once they start sensing, kama watu wanapatiwa loan kama hawajaqualify, to them it's a very, very big red flag. So there are very strict rules of that. So that is what Metropolitan maybe suffered from. They were not regulated by SASTRA, so probably you'll find that bad loans were given. If you're investing in Mansa X, whereby you have some 300,000 and you're wondering, for the next 5 years, I can put it away. And if I woke up and this money got lost, I'm not going to get into depression. So now you can open those special funds, right? You have a policy maturity that has matured and you're wondering, fungua Mansa X, it's very, very good. So for me, those are, and the returns are between 18 to 24%. Shares are also very interesting. The moment Ruto, we can complain about this government, but there are very good things that are happening in this government. The moment Ruto got into power, the first place that he stopped was the NSC. And he said that we are going to change. I listened to his speech, that was in 2022. We are going to change the perception. That time it was doing so bad. Some shares were as low as 0 point something. I said that last year Kenya Power shares were as low as 1 point something. Right now they're at 12, 13 shillings. So if you invested $1 million last year, you've made 12 million within a year. Right? Also, shares that Kenya Re, increase sana. Housing finance is almost going public, so probably you should look at that. There's a corporate bond that is coming for Safaricom. Safaricom have been allowed to raise, is it 50 billion or 500 billion? Something like that, right? So it's interesting, and right now, if there's something that is doing very well in this country, is the share space. And you can start buying shares as low as 1,000 shillings. It doesn't need magic. So if you're selling your honey there and you make a profit of 10,000 in a month, probably the best investment that you need to make is to just go and buy shares. Tafuta shares za Kenya Power, nunua invoice next month, nunua za cooperative. Cooperative bank shares are undervalued. So if you're buying for banks, do not go for maybe NCBA. Cooperative banks are low, it's like 13 shillings, 14 shillings, right? So go for such shares. Insurance also is another gold mine. Britam and Jubilee wako pale, you can buy some. You can look at manufacturing. The president is talking about, if you listen to his speech in Kitui, that is home. He talked about the pillars that he wants to work off, manufacturing. He talked about manufacturing, and he's talking about Singapore. Listen to Ruto. Ruto is a strategist. He's very strategic. So there's a lot of things that he talks behind, as much as you may not agree with him politically. But he has a lot of strong insights. You can listen to him. So shares is also another space that you can go and invest in. And that's my other partner, maybe to see that.
Okay. Other than looking at, of course, the volatility of the investment vehicle that you're choosing and the risk, it also depends on your risk appetite. You also need to ask yourself, what is my investment goal? Is it short term? Is it medium term? Is it long term? For instance, if you want your investment to cater for your needs at the point of retirement, you might want to think something long term. Like you can buy apartments in as much as you're disagreeing with the idea of buying an apartment for 7 million. You can buy it, not necessarily to own it as a homeowner, but for investment. You can rent it out, and then you'll be earning rental income comfortably after your paycheck stops and you've retired. So a question to ask you is, what are my financial goals for this investment? Do I want to go to Seychelles after the end of 10 years? What return do I need to make so that I can afford that trip with just the returns that I've made, instead of eating into that capital that I've invested? Yeah, so that's what I would like to add. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Thank you very much. Let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. What are your financial goals? It begins there. I'll allow one more because time is really flown. Whoa, we have done over an hour. Should we allow for one more? We close it there? Yes, let's have one more from all the way from King Yunasi. King is with us. That's what it is. King is with us.
I had something that seemed to be new from you today when we were talking about the transitional plan. The transitional plan that you learned it from Dr. Joseph. Transitional plan for me, yes, I think about it, but it's a new thing. So can you explain to me more of it?
Thank you. I remember me telling you the story about my father. My father was in the same field that Kiari is. He was in government, comfortable. And she's laughed, Margaret has laughed because she's also in the same field. She's been in that field, and they know that it's a very comfortable space. And if you're lucky and you're in very good departments, let's say like immigration has a lot of money, some legal, some illegal. And one thing I looked at him is that he never thought about transition. Transitioning is being comfortable. I'm a salesperson, and I'm a very good salesperson. And I have clients, every month. I have my paycheck of, let's say, 200,000 every month, and I'm comfortable with it. But in my comfort, I need to think, what happens if that paycheck stops? And it can stop in many things, probably termination. A client can just call ICA and say, you know what, he did this, and then they call. ICA tells me now, you no longer have to start here. You no longer have to be in our company. That is number one. Number two, things happen, accidents. I may not be mobile enough, maybe to meet clients, and that affects my sales. So I need to think in my comfort season of what my uncomfort season would be, and if I would sustain my lifestyle in my uncomfort seasons. We are sometimes in seasons where you're doing well, I'm able to manage to pay the 6,000 or the 2,500 to come here, but I also need to think there could be a day that I will not be able to manage to pay these 2,500 shillings, probably because I'm not in employment. Can I be able to sustain my lifestyle if I'm not in ICLI? And that is what I learned from him, that you have to transition from something. Like now I'm a financial advisor. There is a unit leader in our office. That is a little bit to manage a group of people. There's a head of agency. Head of agency is equivalent to Bishop Kahindi. You manage a whole branch. So that is a career path. So my transition could be, I go back to school, get my diploma in insurance, become a unit leader, become a head of agency. That is number one. Number two, I'm in a space whereby, I call it, I always tell insurance people, you are sitting on gold. There's a lot of money in insurance, but you have to package yourself well. So I could agree, I could decide to invest in my own brand, and that is the decision that I said. Let me not go the career way of the office. Let me go to BM Consulting. BM Consulting is a financial firm that trains financial literacy. And of course, we don't train for free. We will not be training for free. Probably maybe the first 6 months. We'll be charging people to train. And as I charge you, she seems interested in an investment option. So she'll pay me maybe 5,000 shillings per hour to talk to her about investments. And she'll tell me that she's interested and she's ready to do 50,000 a month. So I'll still sell to her. So that is transition. I'm not only looking at selling, I'm also looking at training her, and she's going to pay me training. And I know GLN is also going to be big. So I'll do it free maybe the first 1 year. But at some point that he will invite me to come and talk, I'll tell him now this is an invoice, Bona President. We've done it for free for long, eh? Just give me 2,000 per person, yeah? So you see it's value. And the reason why he'll give me that check of 100,000 is because he is in DM consulting. He's just not coming to talk, he's coming to promote value. And I'll come talk, he'll give me 100,000, and I'll still get 10 people who will sign up for policy who will still employ. So it's transition. The fact that I don't have to really look up to in selling. I can be a trainer, I can offer advisory, and I'm still paid for it. So you need to think beyond my comfort, what else can I be able to do to add value to my brand?
Maybe when I fail to understand it, you remember when you were talking about the sanguine people?
Yes.
And then you were saying of they're difficult to remain in one thing.
Yes.
It's like today I am in GLN, then after a while BM consultancy and what you say.
Yes.
Then I'm like a person should have one thing he sticks on, whatever holds, and you see, life can change, seasons of life can change, but this is me, and I have to grow into this until it becomes something great, like you are consistent in that thing. But then, when I think about transitioning, it's where I fail to understand it very well, you see. I don't know if you're getting me. Yes. Yes, I'm like, I am into leadership, and I'm like, this is my life, where no matter what I cannot change. Wherever you take me, even if the condition change, this is me. Do I plan the transition for that? Today I'm a singer, yesterday, today I'm a singer, tomorrow I'm a teacher. You see?
But I get your question very, very well. Allow me to borrow from the Indians. For me, I am not a monopoly of, whatever I say here is not answer. It's not like law. I'm not a monopoly of knowledge. So whatever I say here is not 100% what should be done. But from Bosco's perspective, allow me to borrow from Indians and what they've done. And our topic today is legacy. I mean, building generational enterprises. You've seen Indians in town sell bags in Kenyatta Avenue. And I was telling her, they're selling bags in Kenyatta Avenue. The rent is so high and they never close shop. Actually, where I buy my Kenyan artifacts, Pale Hilton, kuna place kunauza kwa vitu za Kenya, t-shirts za Kenya, they don't open at 8, they open at 9, they close at 4. And that Indian is very disinterested in what you're buying. And actually, you even say jumbo in the book, right? It's very rude. But his shop is always full. Why? And you ask him, he's the third generation of that business. His grandfather managed that business in the 1950s. Then there was another generation who managed the business in the 1980s, and he's managing it from the 2000s. Why is it that? It is because they are able to transition from the same line. My thinking is, and the way I look at it and how I've learned, is that if you're a leader, stick to being a leader. But do not be an MCA for the whole life. Be an MCA, serve for 10 years. Be an MP, serve for 10 years. Be a cabinet minister, serve for 10 years. Then be like Ruto, be the president. Same, you're a leader, but different faces, different levels. Same thing with what we are doing. Do not stick at the same level. If you decide to go the career path, you are a junior employee, you become middle management, go back to school. The best college in the country right now is, I hate it's called generational leadership. Go back to generational leadership, get your certificate, become the manager, still transitioning, same field, right? My thinking.
Thank you very much. Let's appreciate them. Let's appreciate them. As I sadly said, we need to bring this one to a close. But not until I tell you. You know, I think figures. When the CEO of BM it's consulting, not consulting. Consulting. Okay, the pronunciation. Consulting, not consulting. As he was talking, and he said in GLN, he'll do it free for the first one. Yeah. And thereafter he'll say, here is an invoice. And he said, give me how much? 2,000 per? Now, roughly today we are over 20, counting the ones who are there. Do the maths. 20 times 2,000. How much would you have paid him today? 20 times 2,000. How much would you have paid him for the time he stood here and talks to you about sanguines and and cholerics? How much would that be?
40,000.
Yes. And normally they say that one, it's your transport, you bring them here and you take them back where they are. If they must spend time for tea, it's you to take care of, it's you take care of their lunch. So he comes in here 15 minutes before time, and he finishes, you give him tea or lunch, and you take him back. Either you have flown him in from Kawangware or you pay it. Thank you so much. That was our session. Asanteni sana. Asante sana.